How to start investing in tax lien certificates. Hi, welcome back. I'm Ted Thomas, and I've been involved in tax lien certificates and tax deeds for well over 25 years. And I'll give you some insight on how easy it is to invest in this business and get yourself started. So we'll do that over the period of the next 5 to 10 minutes. You're definitely in the right place if you want to earn 16%, 18%, 24%, all the way up to 36% interest are paid on tax lien certificates. Now, I won't have time to cover every detail, but I'm going to give you so much in the next few minutes, you're just going to be surprised. Now, when I finish this video, I'll spend the last few minutes telling you about mistakes not to make. So hang in there, and I'll tell you about mistakes that newcomers and experienced auction buyers make and that you don't want to make because they could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'll be right back. Well, there's tax lien certificates and there's tax deeds. So let's just call them tax liens for now. Now, tax liens and tax deeds system has been around for over 200 years. I didn't invent it. It was invented by the local governments and the state government in order to help the counties collect taxes, which they need so desperately. All right, now thousands of people default every single year. So what happens? Well, we have 3,000 counties in the United States. They're divided into half of the states sell tax lien certificates, the other half of the states sell tax deeds. So now these tax liens, they pay a lot of money. So let's understand what's going on here. So the local government sells a tax lien certificate at auction. And when they sell that certificate, they sell it by a number. They announce that in the newspaper. They also put it on their websites so anybody can know that it's available. And when you purchase a tax lien certificate, you're basically paying someone else's taxes. Now, you do not get possession of the property. What really happens is you invest your money with the government. You're ultimately going to get a check back from the government. And what you do is you pay someone's taxes. So those counties that sell tax lien certificates, they're very benevolent. In other words, they're very nice. They don't take the property away from people. So the counties that sell tax defaulted properties, they confiscate the property. I'll come back and try and talk about that in just a minute. All right, so these tax lien certificates pay very high interest rates, 16, 18, 24. Now, why are the county charging you all this interest? Well, I can tell you why. The local people that are not paying their taxes are causing the government a big problem. The big problem is this. The local government has to pay its bills. Now, it has a lot of bills, not just the police and the firefighters. It also has to take care of the court system, has to build the roads, and then has to maintain them, has to pay the school teachers. You're kind of getting the idea. So the county literally has hundreds of bills, and if people don't pay their tax, then what is the county to do? Well, they'd have to go out and borrow money or whatever. So rather than go out and borrow the money, they just say to the local people, buy a tax lien certificate, and we'll assure you that you're going to get 16 or 18 or 24 or all the way up to 36%. So what are you doing? You're helping your local county, and you're helping someone that basically is not paying their taxes. Now, when they don't pay their tax, some people would actually lose their property in other states, but in the tax lien states, they don't lose their property. Now, you don't get it either. The people stay in the property. So they're not displaced. They stay in the property, but now you have a lien on that property. You have a right. That property can't be sold. It can't be exchanged with anybody. They can't remortgage it. Nothing can happen on that property until the tax lien certificate is paid. Now remember, the money that you're paying is going to pay local bills. It's going to pay for the hospital. It's going to pay for the libraries. It's going to pay to fix the roads. So that's why we have tax lien certificates. Now, how did all this come about? Well, it came about because people don't always pay their tax. So now what does the local county do? Well, they don't have a lot of authority, but the state has a ton of authority. So the legislature grants and authorizes the county treasurer, number one, to levy the tax, number two, to collect the tax, and number three, if they can't collect the tax, they can either confiscate the property or they can sell a tax lien certificate. So the treasurer of your county, who you elected, is the one that has control here. So that treasurer has power. It has the power to levy taxes, to collect taxes, and if they can't collect the taxes, they can confiscate the property and seize it, or they can do a tax lien certificate. All right, so all private property in the United States, in other words, eliminate the schools and the churches, everything else is taxable. So that tax is always levied at a local level. All right, now property tax are money that everyone is required to pay. It's not something, if you want to pay, you are required to pay taxes. If you own a property in the United States, a private property, you have to pay local property tax, and that's what supports the local government. If you don't pay it, they have the right to come and seize it. But half of the counties in the United States will start out with a tax lien certificate. The other half of the counties will actually seize the property. Once they seize the property, they're going to take the mortgage off it, they're going to wipe out the mortgage, and then they're going to sell it for the back taxes. All right, so there's 3,000 counties involved here, actually over 3,000. Half of them sell tax lien certificates. They're very benevolent. And then the others, they're not so benevolent. They will seize the property. So this is a passive investment. So let's review this tax lien. So tax liens, you're going to invest your money to the government, pay someone else's taxes, and in turn you're going to get a tax lien certificate. You don't have any work to do with that certificate. It's just a piece of paper. You take it home, put it on your desk, and then sit on your rusty dusty. There's no work to do. You just wait until the people come in and pay. All right, 95, 97% of the people will come in and pay. So you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, Ted. If they wouldn't pay the government, why would they pay me? Well, here's why they'll pay you. When you buy that tax certificate, if you don't get paid, the government will award you the property without a mortgage. So let me say that again, because that's just short of unbelievable. You invest in a tax lien certificate. All right, they give you the certificate. That certificate will tell you how much interest you're going to make, and it depends upon the state. It could be all the way up to 36%. Most states are 16, 18, 24%. All right, so you're getting the idea. So you can make nice interest on your money. But if you don't get paid, don't worry about it. You're going to end up with the property. You're going to say, Ted, I don't want the property. Well, maybe you do want the property if you bought it for 1 or 2% and it had no mortgage on it. Okay, so all properties at auction, whether a tax lien auction or a tax defaulted auction, no matter which it is, the mortgage is wiped out. Now, when I say it's wiped out, that's an act of law. I don't get to make that decision. They take the mortgage off the property. When I say wiped out, it's wiped clean of that title report, so it's no longer on that property. Now, the local government can't go rip up a mortgage. They can't do that. That mortgage still belongs to the person that signed it. It's nothing more than a promissory note, and the signatory to that still owes the money, but it's no longer on the property. All right, so this is a safe, secure investment. I like to say it's predictable, it's certain, and it's secure. All right, so let's think about this. If you're doing this in Florida, you can earn up to 18%. I think the lowest I've ever seen is in New York, out on Long Island, Nassau County, and Suffolk County. They only pay about 12%. But in Illinois, if you went to like DuPage County or Cook County in Chicago, holy Toledo, all the way up to 36%. So you need to always check the auction rules. So a place like Maryland, there's some counties only charge 12%, and the county right next door charges 24%. So the point is you have to learn this. Now, there's a step-by-step process that we teach that'll do that. For example, all states don't have counties. Louisiana uses parishes. So it's a little bit different because they have a lot of the French law. That used to be the Louisiana Purchase when we purchased it from France. That was way back even before I was around. So you're kind of getting the idea. Okay, so what have we been talking about today? We've been talking about how to start in tax lien investing. Very, very easy to do. You just get a list. All you do is choose the one you want, take a look at it, and then you can invest in tax lien certificate. Very easy to do. Now, I have a few questions before I button it up for today, and those questions are? All right, so let me give you some idea. What I'm going to hold up here, this is from Jacksonville, and it's just a list of tax lien certificates, and there's no pictures in this newspaper. Let me open it up. This is a huge newspaper, as you can see. All right, it's got 30,000 tax lien certificates in just Duval County. 30,000. Let me get another one for you. You're getting the idea. Okay, now here's one from, I think this is Tampa, Florida. Yeah, this is Tampa, Florida. That's Hillsborough County over on the West Coast. Okay, same situation. There's no pictures in the newspaper. It's just a list. This one will have maybe even 40,000 tax lien certificates available. So there's going to be an abundance of this no matter where you go. All right, and there's also counties that sell tax defaulted properties, which is not our subject today, but those counties, sometimes they'll even put a brochure and give you a picture of those, and we'll cover those on other lessons. Okay, so let's hope you don't die. You worry about transferring your certificate. Yes, they're transferable. The county kind of expects that, and they'll ask you how do you want to title it and things like that. It's not a problem to transfer the tax lien certificate. The beauty of it is it can't be stolen because it's at the county records. Nobody can get it. They're just giving you a copy of it. All right, well, let me kind of button it up, okay? So there's two biggest mistakes that people make at these tax auctions, okay? I'd like you to see you avoid those. So thanks for hanging in here this long. But number one, the biggest mistake I see happening is people will start bidding on properties and buying properties that they haven't seen. Now, if you haven't seen a property and you haven't had your boots on it or your eyes on it or someone you trust looking at it, you don't want to buy it. What if there's been a hurricane? What if there was a flood? What if there was a fire? I mean, these properties sometimes disappear and there's just a slab left over. Well, when you invest with the county, they're going to tell you your money's tied up. You own that. So don't buy anything that you haven't seen. Then the second mistake is that people bid on properties and they don't have any idea what they're going to sell it for. So in other words, they haven't planned their exit strategy. So I tell people, don't buy, don't bid, don't do any of that unless you have an exit strategy, because you might just bid too high. Now, sometimes at the auction, people want to win the bidding. You don't want to win. It's okay if someone else wins, but you don't want to lose all your money because you made either one of those mistakes. Okay, so I'm ready to finish now, and I hope you guys have learned a lot today. And if you have, I'm here with other lessons, which I'll pass on to you. I'm always looking for people to join my community. So when I finish, you can just go below me, and you can register to be part of the community. And if you do register, I have a gift, a GIFT gift for you, and it's a quick start home study. It's all on video. It'll teach you tax lien certificates and all the secrets there. And then it'll also teach you about tax defaulted property, which are called tax deeds. And those tax deeds are where the big profits are. And that's all in that home study course, and I call it Quick Start. Just go below me and register.